I'm Sister Cecilia Maria of the Body of Christ, and I'm a recently professed Passionist Nun in Whitesville, Kentucky. And we are a contemplative order dedicated to remembering and being devoted to the passion, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. And we spend the majority of our work is prayer, keeping vigil at the foot of the cross with Mary. And we really understand our vocation in union with our Sorrowful Mother on Calvary as she compassionates her Son, keeps company with him, offers her own life in union with his, and offers him to the Father as her beloved Son. So we do the same. We try to comfort Jesus with our daily lives of prayer, of reparation, but also of work, of play. And we also invite others to come to the foot of the cross and spend time with us. To me, as I said, I understand my vocation very much in union with our Sorrowful Mother, and so I have learned much about spiritual motherhood from her. As she received St. John as her spiritual child at the foot of the cross, I have come to understand that the Lord has also given me spiritual children. I may not know them in this life, but just as a natural mother gives her life and everything in her days for the sake of her physical children, so I give my life, my daily life, the mundane things, the beautiful things, the hard things, for the sake of my children, that they might have life, that they might grow in grace and grow closer to the Lord. In living my Passionist life, I have discovered that there's a lot of things a lot of sufferings especially, that I bear spiritually, physically, emotionally, a lot of different levels. And because I'm a contemplative at the heart of the Church, I've discovered that I'm not necessarily bearing my own sufferings. I've given my life to God for the sake of His body, the Church, and He has in return asked me to bear some of the sufferings, some of the trials of the other members of the body of Christ. I may not, as I said, know whose burden I might have lifted until we both are in heaven, but I try to remember that my spiritual children need me when I'm struggling with temptation, when I'm struggling with a particular suffering, and I try to bear it for their sakes. I pray to God that if He would let me suffer instead of them, maybe it's a priest who might fall if he were given the same temptation, or maybe he doesn't have the strength to bear a particular physical trial and carry the weight of the parish that he's assigned to. And so it's my joy, really, as a spiritual mother, to take that from my spiritual children so that they might do what God has called them to do. I think in the Blessed Sacrament, we come as close as we can in this life to the heart of Jesus, the high priest. We stand in His presence on Calvary as He offers Himself to the Father as the high priest, as the victim. And so when we're in the presence of the Blessed Sacrament, we are as close as we can possibly be to what Mary did on Calvary. We do that at Mass, certainly most perfectly, and then in Eucharistic adoration, we extend that moment at the Mass when Christ is sacrificed. Christ is elevated in sacrifice to the Father. And so it is the perfect place then to bring our prayer, our penance, our reparation, our love most of all, to Christ. And perhaps to be there for those souls, especially those priestly souls, who perhaps have become routine in their appreciation of what the Eucharist is, perhaps have forgotten the attitude that they must have in uniting themselves with Christ the High Priest. And so the Blessed Sacrament is the perfect place for us to do so.